Greetings, children. Welcome to my channel, Inside Accountancy by Shakul. Today we'll be talking about Chapter 8, Journal. The contents of this video are meaning and features of journal, advantages and limitations of journal, format of a journal, and steps involved in journalizing. Now, before we understand journal, we need to know that there are various transactions that happen in a business. A business transaction can be measured in terms of money and recorded in the books of accounts on the basis of the various evidences that we have, the documentary evidences that we have, such as the source documents like invoices, bills, etc. So there are various business transactions which can be expressed in monetary terms and they are recorded in the books of accounts on the basis of certain documentary evidence. These books of accounts are broadly classified into journal and ledger. Journal is a book in which transactions are recorded in the order in which they are entered, that is, in a chronological order. Date-wise, the transactions are entered. Journal is called the book of original entry. Looking at the definition, a journal is a chronological record of financial transactions of a business. So basically, as and when the transactions occur, they are recorded in the first book of original entry, that is journal. If you notice the definition, only financial transactions are recorded. That is the transaction that can be expressed in monetary terms and they are recorded in a chronological manner. Moving on, let's talk about the meaning and the features of journal. The first feature is chronological order. As I just explained, that the transactions are recorded in the journal in a systematic chronological order. All the transactions as and when they are entered, they are recorded in the journal. So the day-to-day transactions, they are recorded in the journal in the order or in the sequence in which they are entered. For example, a transaction occurring on April 1 comes first, followed by the various transactions occurring in the month of April, followed by the various transactions occurring in the month of May, and so on. So, as and when the transactions are entered, they are recorded. The second feature is it is known as the book of original entry, in which transactions are written before they are posted in the ledger accounts. As I told you, there are two books of accounts, ledger, journal and ledger. So before the transactions are posted in ledger, they have to be recorded in the journal. This is the book of original entry. It records both the aspects of a transaction. Now, what are both the aspects? Debit and credit. So, both the aspects of a transaction, debit and credit, are recorded by using the double entry bookkeeping system. So, both the aspects are recorded in case of journal. We follow the double entry bookkeeping system. So, basically, journal is recorded in the books on the basis of certain source documents. It is a record which shows complete details of transaction in one entry and it is based upon the various source documents such as invoices, bills, etc. So these are the evidences on the basis of which the transactions are recorded in journal, the book of original entry. So it provides the complete details of the transactions. One entry only, all the details are mentioned. Journalizing is a process of recording a transaction in the journal and the form in which it is recorded is known as journal entry. So when a transaction is recorded in the journal, we call it journal entry. So this was about the features of journal. Moving on to the advantages and limitations of journal. Now journal generally has a lot of advantages and very less limitations. Let's first talk about the advantages. The first advantage is provides accounting data in chronological order. Now, as I already told you that the transactions are recorded in the journal as and when they take place. Thus, it helps us in checking our accounting records and to see the date-wise journal entries. So, whenever we need to find out a particular transactions that happened on a particular date, that can be easily done with the help of journal. The second advantage is possibility of error reduces. Now, how come the possibility of error is reduced? Because in journal, the debits and credits are written side by side. Since they are written side by side, they can be easily compared, and if there are any errors, they can be easily corrected. So the possibility of error reduces since the debit and credit are written side by side. Explanation of the transactions. Now, in the case of recording the transactions in the journal, it is followed by a small narration, a description which describes the transaction, the journal entry. So that description is referred to as narration. So explanation of the transaction is also possible with the help of narration. The next advantage is ledger posting of transactions. Now, since I told you the books of accounts, there are two books of accounts. One is journal, the other is ledger. Now, ledger posting is not possible until and unless journal entries are passed. So, only after the transactions are recorded in the journal, only then the ledger posting can be done. So, preparation of ledger is based on the preparation of journal book. Location of errors. Now again, location of errors can be easily facilitated because in case there is any disagreement in the trial balance is a statement which we prepare after preparation of ledger. So first we make journal, then ledger, and then trial balance. So if in case our trial balance does not tally means if the total of DR and CR is not equal in the trial balance, then we can check our journal and locate the errors which we might have done. Moving on to the limitations of journal. Not suitable for large volume of transactions. So journal basically is feasible when the number of transactions are small or they are medium. But if the number of transactions become very large, then it becomes very cumbersome to record everything in the journal book only. So in that case, the companies who have large amount of transactions, they have a they along with journal they prepare subsidiary books also, so that the transactions are classified and recorded in the separate books. For example, for purchases they have purchase book, for sales they have sales book, for purchase return they have purchase return book, and so on. For cash they have cash book, and what does not come in any of the books comes in journal. So it becomes easy when we are tackling a large number of transactions. But this is one of the limitations of journal, that it is not suitable when the transactions are very large in number. Second limitation is cash balance is not revealed. Now, in case of journal, we simply record the transactions in the books of accounts in the form of journal entry. The cash balance is not revealed since, on the contrary, if we prepare a cash account where under one head all the cash transactions are mentioned, then we will be able to know the cash balance. But in case of journal, that is not possible. The next limitation is not a substitute of ledger. So journal cannot substitute ledger because in ledger every particular account has a particular head, and under that head we record all the transactions relating to that particular account. So it cannot substitute ledger. So these were the various advantages and limitations. So journal have more of advantages and less of limitations. These limitations are overcome when after journal we prepare the ledger accounts. Moving on, let's have a look at the format of journal. So this is basically the format of journal, where we have 5 columns: date, particulars, ledger folio, debit and credit. Let's understand that under which column what all we are supposed to write and what it actually means. So the first is date. So under the date, we are going to first write the year in which the transaction occurred, followed by the month and the date. For example, 2019. In the second line, we'll write April 1. In the particulars column, according to the dual aspect, both aspects are recorded. The debit aspect also and the credit aspect also are recorded under the particulars column. While we record, we call it journal entry. So what is a journal entry? Where the debit as well as credit aspects of a transaction are recorded. We'll have a idea about how to write a journal entry in the next slide. So in the particulars column, both aspects are recorded. Then In the particulars column only, after the journal entry, there is a narration. Narration basically is a brief description of the transaction, and it is written after passing the journal entry. The next column is ledger folio. Now ledger folio is basically nothing but the page number of ledger book. I told you two books of accounts are prepared. One is journal, the other is ledger. So ledger folio is basically the page number of ledger book. So for example, under the particulars column, if I write cash account and in the ledger folio column it is written 23, so it means on page number 23 in the ledger book cash account appears. So it is nothing but the page number. Then we have debit and credit. So debit and credit are nothing but the amount columns. So the amount which is to be debited is written in the debit column and the amount which is to be credited is written in the credit column. Please note that all the columns except the ledger folio column are completed at the time of journalizing. Journalizing is the process of recording the transactions in the books of original entry. So while we record the transactions in the books of original entry, all the columns are filled up, they are complete except the ledger folio column. Why? Because the ledger folio column is filled at the time of posting. When we start posting these journal entries to the ledger book, then this column is filled. Moving on, let's talk about the steps in journalizing. So there are approximately 9 steps which are to be taken in the step while journalizing. See, they may look like a lot of steps to you, but they are nothing. When you get a hang of it, when you get the the basic concept behind recording of the transactions, then you won't have to follow these steps. But then I'm just explaining the various steps so that it becomes clear to you. So the first step is determine the accounts to be affected by a transaction. So as I told you, every transaction affects two accounts, minimum of two accounts. One is debit and the other is credit. So you need to determine the accounts to be affected. So when a transaction is given to you, you need to determine that what are the two accounts, minimum of two accounts which are affected. Then after you determine the accounts, next you have to determine the nature of the accounts affected. That is, whether the account affected is personal or real or nominal. For example, if I determine the accounts as goods and cash, so then I have to determine the nature of account. So goods is a real account and cash is again a real account. So we have to determine the nature. Then determine the accounts to be debited or credited. So then we apply the rule of debit and credit. Like I identified two accounts in my example, goods and cash. Both are real accounts. So I'll apply the real account rule, that is debit what comes in and credit what goes out. So on that logic, if I say goods purchased for cash, that means I am purchasing goods. Goods are coming in. So goods should be debited and cash, since I'm making a payment, so it should be credited. So first you determine the accounts, then the nature of accounts, then apply the rule and find out which is to be debited and which is to be credited. After that, determine the amount by which the accounts are to be debited or credited. For example, if I give you a transaction as goods purchased for cash rupees 10,000. So 10,000 is the amount which is to be debited and credited. So after you determine all this, then in the journal format, record the date and month in the date column. So first we write the year followed by the month and the date. After we record the date, then we move on to recording in the particulars column. So record the account to be debited along with the abbreviation DR in the particulars column and amount in the debit column. So what do? We have already identified two accounts. One is the debit account and the other is the credit account. The account to be debited, the account to be credited. So the account to be debited has to be written in the particulars column, and after writing the name of the account, you have to write DR. So DR identifies that this particular account is debited, and when you write that account in the amount column, in the debit column, you have to write the amount. Same thing you have to do for the credit one also, but next to the credit account, in the next line you write the account to be credited. Next to it you don't write CR, but you add 2 as a prefix. Okay, so the amount is again written in the credit column. After you have written all this, then we write the narration, the brief description of the transaction in the particulars column. Finally, we draw a line in the particulars column to separate one journal entry from the other. Now these steps may look very complicated to you, but they are not. I'll just show you with the help of an example. Just have a look at this imaginary entries that I have passed. Okay. So I told you that first we need to identify the account. So let's say we identify two accounts, Mohan account and cash account. Mohan was to be debited and cash was to be credited. So we have identified. So what I did was, first of all, the date, the year is written, then month followed by the date is written. So first step is writing the date. Okay. No, the first step is actually identifying the accounts. The second step is finding out their nature, then applying the rule and finding out which is to be debited and which is to be credited. So that we have already done, let's assume. So in how to write it in the journal, first write the date, then write the account to be debited. Okay. Next to the account to be debited, you have to write DR. Okay. And the amount is to be written in the debit column. If you notice this particular account, Mohan account, if you notice this, Mohan account's amount has been written in the debit column in the straight line. Why? Because Mohan was to be debited with 3000, so his amount is written in the debit side. Now look at cash. Cash was the account to be credited, but next to cash we don't write CR. That's not a part of the format. Whenever an account is to be credited, we write 2 as a prefix, which indicates that this account is to be credited. So in accounting language, when you look at this transaction to cash, you know that cash account is credited. Okay. Again, since cash account is credited, we've written 2 here and the amount is written in the credit column. So if you notice that in the straight line, in the same line as we write cash, we have written 3000 under the amount column. This is followed by the narration. Narration always starts with the word being. Okay. So being cash paid to Mohan. I am describing my transaction being cash paid to Mohan. After I write the narration, then I'll put a line which indicates my journal entry is done. Then again I write the date. Again I write the account to be debited followed by DR, account to be credited prefixed with to, and the amounts respectively in the DR and CR followed by the narration. Okay. Now if you notice, I've written 43 and 25 here. What does this mean? This is basically the ledger number. This is the page number of the ledger book. So in the ledger book on page number 43, Mohan's account will appear. So in the ledger book on page number 25, cash account will appear. So this is what it exactly means. So in this video, we have talked about the meaning and features of journal, how all the transactions are recorded in a chronological manner as and when they are entered into. We also talked about a lot of advantages and very few limitations of journal. We discussed the format of journal and how the journalizing is done. What are the steps which are involved in journalizing a particular transaction? I hope the concepts were clear. If you liked my video, please like my video and show some love. Subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell button in case you want to get notified. Any queries that you have, please email me on my email ID or leave a comment in the comment section below. Thank you so much for being so patient.